hopefully making videos easier and not want to make my computer explode. So it finally happened. You might be wondering why there is no long-form video this week. Or maybe not, I don't know. At the start of the year I mentioned how I was going to upload every 2 weeks. Then I had a lot more free time for a while, so it was 1 week. But then I realized, oh boy, life is a lot more busier again. It's okay, I'll upload every 2nd week instead, to prioritize other things in my life and create some balance. I was also putting a lot more effort into fixing my sleep schedule by going to bed at a timely manner and waking up nice and early before most people were. It was good, everything was great, I had a real flow going. I mentioned in the community tab last Wednesday that the next video should release today when this update video comes out, so where is the long form video? What went wrong? So I was editing this shadow animation on Friday, and DaVinci Resolve is taking a very long time to open, and oh, it's not responding either. It's fine, I'm sure. Saturday comes along, I wake up at 6:30 because I was having my also productive schedule now. 8:30 comes along and I open up Audacity to start editing some of the audio I had recorded for my next video, and there was lag spikes, like a lot of lag spikes. On Audacity of all programs. I open up Task Manager to see what was wrong, and CPU was at 100%. Oh, this is totally fine. I researched the software that was doing this as it was a Windows program. I then decide to uninstall programs on my computer that I think may be running in the background to potentially trigger this. I restart my computer and it was taking a very long time to turn off, like 5 minutes long. After I was like, I'm sure this isn't much of a problem, so I start storyboarding one of the powerful once my computer rebooted, and yeah, this is starting to become a bit of a problem. I restart my PC this time as a last hope, which I swear took like 10 minutes this time, and then it blue screened. Yeah, this is great! My Saturday is going well, exactly how I wanted it to play out. I log back in and my computer was fine at first until I opened Task Manager. This time it was not just my CPU. Oh no. My CPU, memory and disk were all ranging between 90 and 100% due to the same software as before. It was then I remembered that my computer stopped updating Windows 11 a while ago, and I just never knew why, but since it didn't seem to interfere with my work, I ignored it. And it wasn't until I went onto the Windows Update page, I saw a security update, installing 0%. At this point I was kind of panicking as my computer was getting worse by the hour, and I thought that maybe my drivers needed to update or something. I'm not very good with computer technical problems. And yeah, there were indeed some updates and drivers wanting to be installed. From 2016. One even said 2014. I wish I was kidding. Also, keep that in mind. So, flashback, this computer was a gaming PC that I bought a few years ago thinking, yes, it's built to run video games, I'm sure it can work better than my old office PC, so I bought it secondhand for a very good deal. And my PC was indeed a bit better than my office PC when it came to running programs such as DaVinci Resolve. At least I think it was. But even then I knew this thing couldn't possibly run overcomplicated 3D games. But it didn't really matter to me as it did great for my various art projects, for multiple years. So what happened? Why did it get so slow that I could barely use it anymore? And that was what I asked myself for the entirety of Saturday since 8 AM. Just to mention, I had been trying to troubleshoot this problem for 12 hours. Throughout the day I got more and more defeated and just sad. This is it, huh? I can't even use my computer to draw anymore. I didn't even have a backup computer anymore, so how do I work on my creative projects now? Then it hit me. The files. The footage from my next video was still on my gaming PC, and I couldn't even imagine how long, or if it was even possible, to somehow back them up. Hours of footage, by the way. So that video I was in the middle of working on potentially had to be cancelled. After I took a moment to calm myself down, I got some help by someone who is much more knowledgeable about PCs. And you remember that driver update from 2016 that I mentioned? The theory goes that the hardware on my current PC got so out of date that any software update was just too advanced for it and required much more than it could chew. Not to mention, it also has an i3 processor and only 8GB of RAM. I didn't realize how bad that was until it was explained to me. Again, I'm not very knowledgeable about computers, I'm sorry. I'm sure all the computer experts are probably cringing from hearing that. But like, now that I had a better understanding, how this computer was able to handle making 3D models, editing videos, drawing, animation, is just completely beyond me. So I got advised to factory reset my PC, which after only a long, grueling 2 hours, it finally finished resetting. And my PC was back to normal, until the monitors kept losing signal. The monitors wouldn't connect when I turned my PC on, they kept turning off at random times, sometimes it'll be 17 minutes, sometimes it'll be over an hour. And the only way that I could figure out how to fix this was push down the power button on my PC's tower. And this reminded me of an issue that this particular computer had. Nearly a month ago, there was a power cut for 2 seconds, and it was just off and back on. And my computer obviously did not like that very much, because while the computer tower would turn back on, my monitor, my new drawing tablet, I even tested my older screen display, none of them would connect. All 3 of them kept saying, no signal. If you've been around for a while, you'll remember that project I spent a whole 2 months on. You know, the one that pushed me to my absolute limit and burned me out for several months? That one. I had the horrifying realization that I hadn't backed it up. So as far as I was concerned, all that work was gone! Wow! I sure do love when my computer just doesn't want to work anymore. We took the PC tower apart, cleared out some dust, wriggled some parts around, and by some miracle it was up and running again. Then I proceeded to back up that animation project that same night. To transition to the present, it appeared that this issue was back for some reason, and honestly, let's be honest, this PC was hanging on by a thread at this point, since I had a new computer coming in the mail, which I promise is a lot more better than this one. As my old PC just wasn't going to cut it anymore, I backed up some remaining files that I really needed, and after multiple days of my old PC giving out on me and setting up my new one, we are so back. This PC is actually so speedy, I adore it. Editing videos will become much more easier, creating 3D models and animations will become a breeze, no more do I have to deal with programs just not responding and crashing because my old PC just couldn't handle it. So look into computer specs. I know it's confusing, I was very confused, but by this situation happening, I now know a little bit more about computers, and I knew I would want to get a replacement at some point. I just didn't expect it to happen now, but I am getting back on track. This whole drama has just completely destroyed my new routine and schedule, by the way. However, since I can finally get back to normal, I can work on fixing it again. The next video should hopefully come out next week at some point. Please world, I beg. But I thought I would give you something today and explain what's been happening lately. Moral of this, do research into getting PCs to make sure they aren't secretly ancient and will just start working on you out of the blue. Also back up your files too, that's pretty important. Until next time.